So this is video journal 7, and I am discussing the limitations of the traditional behavioral view of learning. To what extent do you agree or disagree with Albert Bandura's position on behavioral learning and observational learning? So just to clarify, my information is coming from Educational Psychology, written by Woolfolk, and that will be cited throughout. Okay, so the traditional behavioral view of learning brings about ethical issues that should be considered. First, goals and strategies should be addressed. When viewing learning through the behavioral lens, teachers must center the goals around the goal of ensuring that academic learning and achievement takes place. Next, teachers should ensure that positive reinforcements or approaches are being used when possible. Punishment should be limited when attempting to modify behavior in the classroom. The impact that the strategy used to move the student toward the desired behavior should be considered on an individual basis. Other considerations and limitations that should be considered are that the approach of behaviorism is based on the response to external stimuli or input, solely on the response of external stimuli or input. And because of this, learning is not associated with individual students and considers them passive in their learning, just responding to external stimuli. Also, if the behavioral approach is used too heavily, too much reinforcement may decrease the actual learning that is taking place. According to page 293 in Educational Psychology, the behavioral theory asserts that cognitive aspects are unnecessary in the process of learning. Bandura's position on behavioral learning states that the traditional view of learning has many limitations and advocated for observational learning. So under observational learning, vicarious learning takes place. Because the learner is observing and learning through this action, the behaviorist theories claim that cognitive factors are unnecessary becomes invalid under this idea. So Bandura's social learning theory highlights the difference between learning and performance. According to Woolfolk on page 293, the distinction asserts that we all might know more than we actually show. So, for example, a student may have learned the concept of multiplying by skip counting, but may not demonstrate that concept until the situation or incentive is appropriate for them. So I believe that learning is a mixture of the transitional behavioral view and the social learning theory. I absolutely agree that Bandura in that environment has an extremely significant impact on student learning. However, I agree that behavior and learning can be modified through proper operant conditioning as well. So according to Educational Psychology, Bandura also agrees that the basic behavioral principles are correct, but highlights the shortcomings of that theory. The social cognitive theory incorporates both behavioral and cognitive aspects of learning, which I believe are both major parts of the process.